Sub-County Director, the Castle, Sub-County, the host principal, other education officials, our colleague teachers, good morning. Good morning once more. As you have been told, I am Oyuga Zedomolo, and I'm also a career guidance coach. It is some work that I've done for quite a while, and we have come here specifically to share experiences and probably provide what we call the modern trends in the ways that we run the departments of career guidance and the offices of the DOSs that we have. So I must say that I'm privileged this morning to stand before you and to share as one of the teachers. I will share my experiences, and at the same time I will give the insights that is relevant to our teachers who are in charge of careers and academic departments. Now, number one is that let me give you a bit of my experience when it comes to issues careers. When I went to school, that is between 1989 to 1992, the career department, as we know it today, was not well established. We were simply taken through the learning processes from Form 1 to Form 4, and we filled in some forms for university admissions, and it ended there. So at the end of it all, you would be admitted to a university. But now when looking back, I realized that I could have been mentored well. Probably I could have done a better course. But there wasn't that. There was a gap, so that you did not have any information about the careers that are there in the job market or the courses that you will do after high school. And that was it. Now, if you look at the current systems that we have, there is a lot of emphasis from the Ministry of Education and even from the Teacher Service Commission about the establishment of the careers department in our schools. But the big question that we would want to ask this morning is whether at our schools do we have functional and substantive careers departments? That is what we want to discuss today. Do we have functional and substantive careers department in our schools? Now, number two, the question number two is that do we have functional and substantive offices of directors of studies? And how does the office of the director of studies relate with the offices of career guidance departments? So that we help our students who are actually our clients. So we want to find that connection, and we want to discuss and share knowledge about the role of the DOSs and also the career heads of department. And that is why you have been invited to this particular workshop, to induct you so that you understand your roles. Throughout my experience, I have been in these offices. I have been in the office of the DOS. I have also functioned at the office of the careers department. But I think where I learned a lot of information was when I was teaching at Nakuru Girls High School, when I was actually in charge of careers. And I want you to begin to see the connection between careers and academic performance. If you look at the schools that have very substantive careers department, always there is something about academic performance that is very unique, because these two departments are connected. If you have a very substantive careers department that guides our students well, then you will understand that the performance will begin to improve, because These are students that have been inducted well to understand the careers that they will be pursuing. And therefore, the emphasis that they put in their academic work would be extremely unique. Now, allow me to begin to talk about the role of the career departments in our schools and the role of the DOSs. Number one role is to help our students in their educational plans. Now, this planning begins at the point of admission, and we must agree on this. I believe that all of us have admitted their Form 1s, and our Form 1s are now settled at our schools comfortably. During the period of admission, there was the form that they were filling in, and after that you opened up the files for them. And I want to believe that all our schools have now the files for each and every Form 1. Part of the information that we have in that file is their career ambition. Others have written law, others have written teaching, others have written to be priests, and so on and so forth. And my big question today is, how many careers heads of department have this information in their offices? Or are these files kept in the office of a deputy principal in charge of admission, or are they kept in the offices of the deputy principals in charge of academic, or are they kept in the office of the principal, or are they kept in the office of the DOS? Where best can we keep these files? Now, you have two options as the careers department and the DOS. Once this file has been received, the careers department needs to analyze the information that is in this file. And this rarely happens in our schools. So you need to have access, the DOS and the careers department, of this file, and you do some analysis. One of the things that you will have to look at is what we call the entry point of this particular student to your school. What mark did the student get to be admitted at your school? Maybe it was 200, maybe that those who got 350 and above. You need to have this information, and you need to have done an analysis and kept that information with you, because that information is relevant when it comes to guiding this student to finally get the correct course that you want to pursue at the university, and probably also as a matter of profession in his or her life. So do we have this information? So part of your responsibility as careers and the DOS is to make sure that this file is analyzed, know the marks, the entry mark. There are certain information that you also need to know. Even the phone numbers of the parents are in that file, so that if there is a problem that deals with careers, you can easily call the parent and probably discuss this information together with the parents. You know, I'm privileged because I was part of the admission this year. And I even know that part of this information is about religion. And are you aware that the kind of religion can also affect the career path of a student? It does affect in one way or the other. There are some groups or some religion that may not even want people to go as high when it comes to issues of education. So it is up to you, the teacher, to advise these students who come from such religion, if the student actually gives you that information, so that you know how to treat that student. So my emphasis here is that file at the point of admission, that the careers department needs to analyze that file and probably keep certain information, the grades, which subjects did the student do very well in. Is this a student that is STEM oriented? Is this a student that is arts oriented? Is this a student that is humanities oriented? Is this a student that is physical education oriented? That one will come as we now begin to talk about CBC. So that information, you need to have it and analyze it well. That is part of your planning. Now, let me move to the level of planning at the level of the office of the DOS. Because I know much of this information is contained in the files of the office of the DOS. Now, once the DOS has got this information, I think the DOS needs to inform or to supply this information to the office of the careers department. So that as this student continues to perform from Form 1, first term like that, every result should actually be relayed to the office of the careers department. You can easily now begin to track the student as early as in Form 1. You know this one came to this school with 370, but now maybe it's beginning to reduce in terms of his academic performance. So that information needs to be with the office of the careers department. And this is part of what we call the planning. Let the two offices work together so that the academic performance of every term is supplied to the office of the careers department. But let me ask you, and let us be sincere, the careers department that we have here, do you keep the results of our students after every exam for advice? Or maybe a teacher to share his experience in 1 minute? What happens if you are in careers and you keep such information? Do we have one? Remember, if you don't, then it means that is part of the planning. Now, the second role of the careers and the DOSs is to advise on academic progression. You advise on academic progression. You are the people who have the statistics. You are the people who have the information about these students, how they are progressing. Are they making positive improvements in their academic, or are they digressing in their academics? So if you have that information, then you have the opportunity to advise them accordingly in terms of their academic